Hey guys, this is Allison from Allylatkreations211. How are you? Trying day. Trying day yesterday as well. I'm very blessed and thankful that I'm still able to do this. I've been clearing out my house. I feel sorry for the garbage men. As I said on my previous video, I only made $3 from my yard sale, so a lot of it's going to donation next week. The other half got thrown out, and the other half is getting thrown out tomorrow. Fun. I also had to go to the pawn store, which was very difficult, because today is and would have been my mother's birthday. Although those are trivial things to people, something really wicked always happens on my mother's birthday. I had a hot water heater explode one year on her birthday, and yesterday my computer was acting wonky. I'm like, please, I need my computer right now until I get moved. And then I'll be able to afford a new one. But until then, I'm in despair mode. Not to carry on to my problems, but I just want to give you guys an update of where I'm at. I am trying to persevere and push forward and be strong about everything. If I could do it, I know many of you can. So keep the hope up if you're in my situation. Push yourself past your limits without hurting your body. Today was really rough because it hit 100 degrees here, and I have no air conditioning, and it's very hot and humid right now, but it kind of cooled down. So I feel it appropriate and two of the most important topics I damn near enjoy: vibration and polarity. So exciting. I got my notes. Before I begin, Amish mindset. Like that button. Support my work by liking that button. Biggies. 2 seconds. No energy exerted, really. Subscribe to my channel. Because once my situation changes, I'm going to keep pumping content out because, you know, once I move and once I get myself settled, you know, I'll still be doing this and it still won't be as frequent as I used to, but once I'm set up, I'm going to go full blast again, which makes me happy. That's what I like to do. Please share if any of my work resonates and you think other people can gain knowledge from it. And if you would like to support me and my work, especially during this disparaging time, all the links will be down below. If you ever get anything from my work, a connect the dot, a mic drop, an epiphany, a new book to read, it's all very appreciated. And that's Amish mindset. You don't let anybody fall, especially somebody who started their channel out from the beginning in that fall. And there are plenty of people on my channel who have helped me out, and it's very appreciated. Unspoken words, because there is no words to define when someone really is your angel and saves the day. Kybalion. Before I begin, well, reading notes, the reason why I like vibration and polarity And not to say the other 7 principles aren't important, they absolutely are. Is because we have a lot of people talking about spirituality and how density dimensions work. But it's all here. It's all perception. And you can manipulate it. And I'm going to go into all that fun. But a lot of people don't read these pieces of work, which is, oh, it's occulty. No. Nothing that this book has, the Hermetic principles, might be Hermetic, but a lot of people took their work based on this work. And they went more in depth with it as the times and the technology and with the physics and showing how this actually and how intricate each of these things go into. They already knew back then about sound chambers and about frequencies. They knew about all of this. And somehow, somewhere along the way, we all forgot. Or we dubbed it occult. Like, you can't read that because that's from the devil. What happens if they're right? And I have a big feeling they are. Vibration. Quote, nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. End quote. Kybalion. Not only a principal motion, the act is manifested in everything in the universe, also planes of existence. Nothing is at rest. Movement is within everything. The philosophers of the Greeks used this principle in their work, and they have. Within this principle, there are differences in various manifestations of the universal power, the varying rate and mode of vibrations. What does that mean? If you have something vibrating, you can go look this up on YouTube. They have those tables and people pour salt on it or sand. And then they crank up vibrations via frequency. And each frequency, when it vibrates, has different shapes. And depending how high or how low, you get different shapes. Sacred geometry, you could call it. But you could take that further. Everything on your body in this current moment is vibrating and moving. Everything. You can't tangibly see it with your naked eye, but under a microscope you can. You see all the little mites going up and down your face. Creepy, Allison, stop. Your blood cells, the neurons, the atoms, the molecules, they all vibrate. They all move. Even in solid objects, your eyes just can't perceive it. I'm going to go into that later. Because a lot of people need tangible evidence, and I understand that, but a lot of things can't be tangibly seen with your 3D naked eyes. The all itself, the all, the God, the spark, the monad, the what that encompasses all of that, take how that resonates to you. The all itself manifests vibration constantly with infinite degrees of intensity. motion that's varying rapidity, that objects appear to the naked eye at rest. Quote, the teachings are to the effect that spirit is at one end of the pole of vibration, the other pole being certain extremely gross forms of matter. Between the poles, millions of different rates and modes of vibration occur, end quote. So vibration and polarity are very much intertwined, and that's why I'm doing these two together. You have your spiritual pole, and then you have your matter, your material world at your feet. Why did they tell you to ground to the earth, to connect to Mother Earth? Because you're connecting your material body to another material body. Whereas if you look up, we consider spirit, other densities, higher densities, above us, not below, above us. So we have two poles. We have a positive and a negative, and neither one are bad or good. It's just the positive and the negative. It's just to say the South Pole and a North Pole. I've been in there. I just watched I had amazing podcasts today. You know, I'm gonna just pause for a second. Amazing podcast today. If you follow me on certain social medias, I posted them in certain places. Go check them out. My goodness sakes. A lot of stuff I've been saying. So you know I'm not nuts. But somebody on Journey to Truth questioned the direction of north. What's the true north? We hear that a lot. Find your true north. What happens if your true north is really south? Doesn't change anything. It really doesn't when we're talking about ourselves, but in a bigger sense. Yeah. So just check that out. I think it's interesting to think and ponder that, even if it doesn't resonate with you. You know, again, you got to look at everything, and you got to look at everything with an objective eye. And when you question things outside of your box, like, but no, Allison, like true north is north, and that's it. And the compass tells me north is this way. Cool beans. But what happens if it's reversed? I like to play devil's advocate, by the way. Getting back to my notes. Science shows us hot and cold water that vibrate at varying degrees and rates which manifest vibration. Quote, then all particles of matter are in circular movement, from corpuscle to suns. Molecules are made up of atoms, which are always in a state of constant movement and vibration. Atoms are composed of corpuscles, aka electrons, aka ions, also in states of rapid motion evolving around each other. The Hermetic principle of vibration does show all forms of matter manifest vibration. And they're correct. If you were to take a high power scope and look at things at its nitty gritty, you're told that atoms and neutrons and electrons and ions and all these things are always in constant movement because that's what's depicted to us. If anybody has taken hallucinogenics, you have a better understanding of what you see when you look at material objects and you see them move. And you look at the particles and things in utter detail that you can't see without the help of those aids. And some people can, they can reach that state of consciousness. I know, I've seen it. And I'm not promoting anything, and don't take anything illegal. Not allowed. Quote, science teaches that light, heat, magnetism, and electricity are but forms of vibratory motion connected in some way with and probably emanating from the ether. You don't say. Why do you think free energy is suppressed? Anybody look up Tartaria? Go look that up if you're not aware. And the mud flood. And if you walk around New York City and never question why some of the buildings are like, if you go to St. Mark's Place, you want to know why the restaurant's in the basement, because you can walk down the stairs and get there, but like, why the hell would that be? Who designed it that way? Why are some of the buildings like the first floor is down? You're looking down at the first floor, and the first floor is really the second floor. If you know, you've walked in Manhattan before and you've seen a lot of this. My favorite Japanese restaurant is Kenka. I don't even know if they're there anymore. On St. Mark's Place. Holy shit, is their food amazing. And it's not sushi, it's authentic. Crazy food. Anywho. I'm hungry. That's probably why I'm talking about it, because I want it. There isn't much at the time of writing on cohesion, the principle of molecular attraction, or the chemical affinity. Principle of atomic attraction or gravitation, aka the principle of attraction, where every particle mass of matter is bound to every other particle or mass, which is in what, in my opinion, quantum entanglement. String theory. All still sequence vibratory energy in resonance. So why do I consider this quantum entanglement? Or perhaps even string theory? Because you have, let's just say you're here, and there's another person at the other side of the room. You have a toroidal field, you have a magnetic field, you have a vibratory field that you emanate a lot of different untangible things. You can't see it, but you have a lot of energy around you, and you have the law of attraction, and you attract certain things to people. It's like the pheromones thing. If I see a guy that I really enjoy, my body's just going to start like vibrating and trying to get his attention. The entanglement theory is that I would want to draw him closer to me and have a reaction. But it could be separate in the terms of their experiments, that they can have one cellular action happening here, and on another plane or far distance, they can get the same particle that they put here, and they have another separate particle here, and they have them doing the same shit. And in paganism, the one that is not corrupted by evil, again, it's all about your intention. A lot of people don't quite grasp that yet. They're like, oh, it's a covenant evil. Yes, there's a lot of evil shit that twist and turned everything. So don't think all forms of shamanism and other forms of paganism are evil when they're in fact not. I'm trying to word this properly so it doesn't sound funkadacious. In paganism, there's a belief, and in spiritualism as well, that we have chords, different strains, different colors. You know, they always say like, unknot your chords, or your chords are not connecting to where they need to go. We all have these strings. This is where I think string theory originated from. In the Norse mythology, and it's not really mythology, in my opinion, the Norns, past, present, future, spun the web of fate. Those were chords. Web is just a chord that connects you to the universe, but it also can connect you to people, places, and things. So, you know, in spiritual work, if you had a very traumatic relationship with somebody, or, you know, have an attachment to something, it's, you know, the advice is always, you know, sage yourself, you know, take a salt bath and cut your cords. Unknot and cut those cords. So that thing, person, object, whatever have you, isn't stuck to you anymore. Because your energy is still pulling it in. Your gravitational pull is bringing it in. And can you see that? No, you cannot see that. But then you look at your life lessons and you see why things and patterns are repeating. It's because you have to cut the cord. So I just wanted to, like, kind of explain. Some of this is not easy to understand. And then I know there's a bunch of you who are like, what the hell is she talking about? I try to describe things in common day terms for people, because some people are just waking up to these principles. So all my beautiful hermeticists out there and people who are watching, if there's a better way of explaining it that's not like directly from the book that you would like to share, please put it in the comments. I don't want to be the only one helping humanity, because again, Amish mindset, we're here to help everybody, and that means you can help too. Universal ether, not given direct knowledge from science. The Hermeticists hold that ether is a higher manifestation of matter. They call it, quote, the ethereal substance, end quote. They claim it's of tenuity and elasticity, magnetism, and the list goes on. It pervades universal space, a medium of transmissions of waves, encompassing vibratory energy that is magnetism, electricity, light. The connecting link, the ethereal substance between vibratory forms, is matter on one scale, and energy or force an other scale, which have degrees of vibration rate mode of its own manifested. Tesla. Tesla played with this, knew about it, and wrote about it. Why haven't they hidden this from us? Free energy. Why did he sit in a chair and let lightning go all over the place around him? Because he knew how to manipulate electricity by using ethereal substance. People who are able to manipulate the matter of this dimension are people that have psionic abilities. I've talked about this before, but if you're new to my channel or new to this subject matter, I don't know if it's there anymore. I've tried to find it. It might have been whacked off of YouTube, most likely. But there's a guy who is, it's fall. He put a a stand and a phone on it, videotaping himself working with energy. And he's in a field with a lot of leaves on the floor, and you can apparently and abundantly see nothing is moving. It's not windy. Especially during fall, when it's windy because all the leaves are going all over the place and the tree is swaying, right? You could see these things with your own two eyes. He's sitting there and he's doing these deep breathing, and he's working his arms, and he's working and he's working. He's like sitting there, and he's like really intense and focused on the leaves. And then all of a sudden, you start seeing leaves lift off the floor and in a tornadic vortex start moving. It's still not windy outside because apparently all those leaves would have been blown right out of the vortex that he just created. It wasn't windy. Didn't see anything else in the background move. It's not a magic or illusion trick. It is psionics. The same thing with people who have telekinesis. We've watched movies and some people have seen documentaries of people who could just stare at an object and bend the spoon. Matilda. If you want a perfect example, a prime, cute, child-friendly movie about telekinesis, watch the movie Matilda. It is not as current, but it's 90. I don't even know when it was made. But it's a classic for me because it made me as a child feel like, holy shit, she has abilities and people like it. People understand it. People are afraid of it at first, but she makes it fun. So the kids around her appreciate that she's helping them out too. And she didn't know about her abilities until she had a very big trigger and she got angry enough and she went deep inside and shit started moving. Right? So again, there's manipulation of energy and you're using the ethereal substance that you can't see, that is not tangible to your eyes or physical matter, but is still there. And this is how Tesla was able to work and learn from this and understanding that vibration has different modes and varying degrees of frequency and vibration. To visualize this, this is a good one. Think of a tire with a rim on it, and at higher speeds, it appears not to be rotating. Where at lower speeds, you could see the motion. This happens with sounds. As different speeds of vibrations, the tones of the sounds differ from high to low. When it comes to heat, the color chakra spectrum is seen depending on the vibratory heat emitting from that heat. Ending on the violet ray, as speed of heat is increased, the shades aren't picked up to the naked eye. So they're giving different examples here. So if you were driving in a car and you're seeing you're on the highway and you're watching cars, you're looking at people's tires move, but think of those big Escalade rims that literally actually move. you know, the nice blingy ones. But at high rates of speed, it looks like it's not moving at all. It looks like it's stationary. And you can play around with different objects if you can get things to go fast enough. Fidget spinners might be a good example, but you really have to like wind that thing up. So when it comes to the violet ray, infrared, can you see infrared? Unless you have special eyewear on. So just think about what I'm going to say. Ending on the violet ray, as speed of heat is increased, the shades aren't picked up to the naked eye. Though invisible rays emitting from a revolving object, the rays used of photographing this manifest rays known as X-rays. Electricity and magnetism. At certain vibrations are emitted at certain rates where this is obtained. So when you go to the dentist, you go to the hospital, you know, you put yourself in front of a box, wherever your issue is, and they have a machine. And that's why they cover you up with a gown. Insert, you know, for females is usually the womb area, unless you need an X-ray there. And they clear the room, and the machine does its work, and you don't tangibly see what's literally going through your body is violet infrared rays, radiation to an extent. And then you get the photograph, which shows you what is going on. But if you didn't have that photograph, you would never know about the X-rays. Maybe. We don't know. There's a lot of things that, you know, people are like, prove it, Allison, prove it, prove it, prove it. There's a lot of things you can't prove. There is no tangible evidence, especially in the spiritual world. You have to go based on what you resonate with. But can you see microwaves? Can you see radio waves? It's tangible because you hear the radio. So, if, you know, there's a radio station out of Rutgers University, WSOU, who plays heavy metal. I used to love that. There's my tangible evidence. Those waves got all the way over into my radio so that I could hear it. Imagine. Or is that whizzing through us at all times and we just don't see it? Not everything is tangibly seen or heard. The only way you know that your microwave is working is when the ding goes off. You don't, you know, you hear the rotating of the motor that is rotating your food around, but you can't see the waves. Right? You can't see them. It's metaphysics. Can't perceive everything, but yet things do still exist. You can't see particles or molecules, protons, neutrons, electrons, quarks. You can't see any of that with your naked eye. But yet it still exists because here you are. It's what you're made of. It is very hot. And I see my little co-host in the hallway. I had to take a pause so that I could put the fan in the direction where she was lying. Poor thing is probably steamingly hot with all that fur. And then they relocated to the cooler parts of my house, which is downstairs. So I do apologize for that little minor pause. This stuff excites me. This raises my vibration, by the way. So this next part, I'm going to read it, but I want you to have something that, you know, they don't say it outright, but this is what I take from this next section that I'm about to read. Teleportation. We talked about telekinesis and psionics. This next part, what I'm going to read, think about teleporting. Your physical matter, or even the ascension, you going from a physical object to a light being. And even though light is tangibly seen, you can't hold the light unless you touch the lamp, which is emitting the light, but you still can't touch the light, right? You can't touch a sun. Just, you know, it falls on you. Just saying. At a certain rate of vibration, an object reaches the molecules and they disintegrate, resolve themselves into the atoms of origin. The principle of vibration, the atoms are the separated into corpuscles of the object that it was composed of. The corpuscles or molecules disappear, or they disappear. Then it could be said the object is composed of the ethereal substance. Quote, Hermeticists teach that if the vibrations be continually increased, the object would mount up the successive states of manifestation and would in turn manifest various mental stages and then on spirit word until it would finally re-enter the all, which is the absolute spirit, end quote. Quote, the stages at which the object throws off vibrations of light, heat, energy on a higher rate and scale reaches the degree of vibration whose forms of energy liberate in a degree confining the influences of its molecules, atoms, and corpuscles. The forms of energy, even on a higher scale than matter, are imprisoned and confined in material combinations. Wanted to make sure I read that word right. I jotted this quickly. For this reason, energies manifesting through using material forms become entangled, confining in their creations of the material form. The creating force becomes involved in its own creation. Let's deconstruct this. We know that when we hear about the ascension and people talk about ascension, that in the higher states of density, you get lighter. You emanate more light. You become a light body eventually. So what in physics does that equate to is that you're vibrating at a higher frequency, at a higher rate of speed, your molecular structure changes. What do you think is happening to many of us who are reacting to what we call the ascension symptoms? Whether you're getting ear buzzing and the headaches and you're purging out the toxins out of your body, either way, You know, you're exhausted, your body is overstimulated, it has too much energy, and they like ground your energy, drink a lot of water. Speak into your water good intentions, so you're taking in positive. Water holds information. So when you speak information into the water, it's encapsulating the vibration you're giving off, which when you drink it, when you're not feeling so great, that's why they tell you during certain periods of moon phases to put water in your window and let the moon hit it. And speak intentions into your water. They're onto something there. So you're transforming in your ascension body, your physical body right here is slowly, without them emitting too much energy and then you're fried and you explode. Human combustion, anybody? Eventually, through the densities and through the photonic stage where we're supposedly merging in, going through right now in the universe as it expands and contracts, right? Whatever you want to call Earth, you see Earth, Gaia, Terra, whatever it is that we're on. I'm not here to debate any of that because everybody's perception is different. But you're still here physically watching this video, and you might be getting some symptoms. Your body is getting ready to vibrate at a higher density, not just mentally high vibing, but your whole entire essence, being, your spirit, soul, and ether is getting ready to vibrate on a more frequent and higher scale. And what happens when that occurs? You are lighter, you're not so dense. Your molecules in your body are quickening. It's things are going faster. So you get lighter. You emanate more magnetism, and in moving up, you eventually become the light being. You don't need your body anymore. What do you think happens to somebody who unfortunately passes away? Their body is deconstructing. Their body, their material body, is so dense, they don't want to move. I saw my mother. She did not do much moving. Her body was dying. My father, the same. Their physical vehicles were slowing down, but their soul was quickening up. And how I knew that was because they could see past the veil. Like I've said in other videos, when my mother right before my mother passed away, in the last in-depth conversation we had in this house, she sat in this chair and I sat on the floor talking to her. She apologized to me because I'm a light being. I have a light vibration, a high light vibration. People see past my dark exterior and they see the light being that I am. She didn't understand any of those things. She saw things with her naked eye that she thought she was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. But knowing that I've been seeing that stuff since I was a little kid, she's then made it plausible that she's seeing the same things too. And at that point, I didn't want to tell her, yeah, you know, you're on your way down, Ma. Sorry. You know, it's just a stage. We all go through it. We all physically die. You know, as it was her birthday and now it's yesterday. Your body decomposes, but your spirit starts vibrating higher because it's getting ready to be pulled out. Many of us who are alive going through the ascension is going to go through a very similar motion, but we're not physically dying. So all of us, our molecular structure has to change in order for us to go up. So I think, as technical as this is sounding, what I'm trying to describe, and I don't know if I'm doing a good job, hermeticists out there that are listening, let me know if that makes sense to you and if that can be applied to this, but I am resonating with that. But also thinking about when you're watching Star Trek and you're watching them, you know, decompress, the molecules are, you're looking at the material object, and then all of a sudden you start seeing the pixelations that they're trying to show you on screen, right? But it's representing the deconstruction of everything, and then you reappearing somewhere else. You materially transform. Um, when you talk, when we hear about experiencers that are taken up into craft, they're given a gravity belt or a density belt to change their density so that they can be physically informed in the ship because they're on a higher density. Your low density self in third dimension, third density, isn't going to fare well in a higher dimension and a higher density. So they talk about the density belts, which is playing with your molecular structure so that you can function up there or out in the vastness of space. Again, there are so many amazing people who have documents that have their own theories on the structures and the physics of how things are. I am not saying any one person is right or wrong, because like I said again, neither is right or wrong, because it's what you perceive out of your own eyes, what you take into your heart as what is tangible to you. Some people don't believe in the ascension. Some people don't believe in teleportation. Some people, but they have experiments. And after watching one of the podcasts today, I can't even say it's the Philadelphia experiment anymore, because I think the story that was told today checks out, and it's a different scenario, but very similar. And Tesla worked on that technology. And for the sci-fi people, think about jump rooms, portals, and stargates. This is explaining how that physically happens. The rate of vibration in your body has to be at a specific maximum in order for your cellular structure to decompose and reformulate somewhere else. The Hermetic teachings bring this concept into a higher step forward when it comes to the manifestation of the mental state. Reason, thought, emotion, cause, those project vibrations, induction, the vibrations coming, projecting from one to another, the phenomena of telepathy, mental influence. All states of mind has a rate of vibration by willpower alone. The mental states may be reproduced in a way of vibration, mental transmutation. Quote, he who understands the principle of vibration has grasped the scepter of power, end quote. So the spiritual community talks about high vibes and the power of manifestation into the material world. What a lot of people don't tell you is that you can sit with the highest of vibrations. You could set forth into motion and try to manifest things. But then there is the laws of the universe and the laws of others' receptivity. I don't know if I said that right. You can't force your will upon another. You can fantasize about another. You could dream about another person and want it really bad. But if it's not in divine order for you to have it, and if it's not predetermined that that person is supposed to be in your life for those specific ends and purposes, you're not getting the reciprocity that you want. If you use your mental power to manifest a happier state of mind, you can achieve that very quickly by changing your habits of the way you think. That's why they say always have a high vibe. Raise your vibration so that your body can get used to the higher density feeling of being in a high vibration. But again, we are still in duality. We're still here. And we're still swinging on the pendulum because our moods, we have hormones, we're human. Again, we swing on both ends of those on that pendulum. We can go from extremely negative to extremely positive. You want to come to neutral as much as you can possibly can. Why? Because realistically, there is always some catalyst in your life that is going to be negative. That's the lesson that you need to learn, or the trauma you need to heal, or whatever have you. And then you have this the extreme of being extremely happy, which is a state that can never really stay in achievement. It's a little bonkers, in my opinion, to always be and exuding extremely happy thoughts, because there's always people who are not doing the right thing in society and causing mayhem and hell. And if you're not reacting to that, not to say you should be affected by it, but like, human? Anybody? Be human? But when you can understand the telepathy component to that, and then understand the voice of God technology, and understand that there is manipulation within the ether that is of not your highest good, that they can project EMPs, they can project a lot of things into the ether you're not aware of, and there's no tangible evidence for it. There are people who say they get demonically attacked or possessed. There are channels that they step outside of the body and another entity walks in and converses. How does that happen? Your mental state, your willpower, the vibrations you're carrying. And it's up to you whether you want the good to jump into you if you are a channel, or you're getting deceived because you're not reading the energy. Or you might have had a really bad day and you're projecting lower vibes, and lower things are going to be gravitating toward you. That's why I channel spirit naturally. They don't jump in me, they talk through me. There's a difference. When I have channeled in my sleep, something is entering into me. People have heard me have full-blown conversations in my sleep. And it's not me dreaming, it's me physically talking to the person in the room. And it freaked them out. But it's up to you to where your mental state is. As hard as my situation and my journey is, I hold hope that at some point it's all going to turn around for me. I'm holding on to that hope. I'm looking at the good events in the future. I'm not trying to sit in the bad. But as I'm healing and learning how to, it's not even learning how to let go. It's just, I had to get permission from my parents to go to the pawn. They don't care what I do on my free time. They're like, yeah, Allison, go. No, but the pawn store, to give up things that they were very attached to on a material basis. And that, because of me being an empath, I had to get permission because I felt the energy off of those objects, and they were good energy and they were good vibrations. And I didn't necessarily want to give them up, but there's no way I'm wearing it. Like if I wear my mother's jewelry. I don't wear the jewelry she gave me specifically because I don't want it to be broken or lost. I have a habit of things breaking off of me. I also have a light issue. I blow the lights. I didn't realize this. And it's twofold because it is also can be spirit, but it's also me emanating a lot of energy that I didn't ground, and I blow the light bulbs in my house. I didn't realize that until yesterday. I'm in my kitchen and I'm just like hot, sweaty, hungry, and just trying to, bag up what I can and putting food. I'm putting all my food in bags, like tote bags, so that, I can still access it, but it's not sitting out on my pantry. And it's going to go and be hidden so I could take pictures of my house so I can get a realtor. I can't do that if everything is out in the open. And I don't want to be judged for what I eat. It's no one's business. So I'm trying to clean everything and put things into bags and make things a little neater. And I was, the Schumann resonance was pretty high yesterday. I blew a light bulb. When my mom died, do you know how many light bulbs blew in my house? Too many to count. It's obscene. How many light bulbs have blown out in my house right after my mom passed away? And if you are into that kind of stuff, and if you notice, especially, there you could see light changes throughout my video. There's no doubt about it. It could be spirit. It is also be me. I have a habit of doing that, and I didn't realize. I thought it was always spirit. It also can be me. Like dawned on me. Maybe I'm the one causing the electrical issues in my house because I have a lot of energy. Not physically. I need to still. I don't want to be a vampire, but I would like to borrow other people's go Energizer Bunny energy because I can use that right now. But yeah, I hope polarity is going to go into the vibrational thing too. But this is where like the vibration ends. And again, this is like me reading the text and trying my hardest to put it in my own words so that I don't get yelled at. But also, when you do that, you sometimes lose the direct interpretation of what was meant. So if you are the Hermeticist and you know exactly what's going on and you have a better way of explaining it, please drop it in the comments below. I appreciate it. I'm not trying to confuse anybody, but I like to explain things with things and my experiences. This way it's easy for me to project it out properly. And I hope I'm doing that. I don't always do it, But if you know other examples that are easy to explain to people who are just new to this topic, again, I want people to realize I'm very well read in a lot of this work. It's just doing it in a way that a person that has never heard of this book and never heard of these principles is going to have multiple examples and real life experience, or they can look it up in a video to see the power of telekinesis and psionics, that it all stems from vibrations and it all stems from mental willpower, the ether, and things that are not necessarily tangible that we could see with our naked eye. So I just want to throw that out there. I'm the transition team. Not the doctoral person. Although I would love to go get my doctorate in metaphysics, but I have to get a master's first, and who can afford that right now? Not me. My favorite topic, polarity. Why is it my favorite topic? It's in the law of one. Though Ra speaks to it in the extremes, whereas the Kybalion doesn't. It gives you the varying degrees, the scale of rhythm, which is the way the tuning fork goes back and forth, right? Quote, everything is dual. Everything has its pair of opposites. Like and unlike are the same. Opposites are identical in nature, but different in degree. Extremes meet. All truths are but half-truths. All paradoxes may be reconciled. End quote, Kybalion. These are my favorites, and the book gives them, so I'm going to quote it. Quote, everything is and isn't at the same time, end quote. I say that all the time. We're all one and the same, but how? Everything is and isn't at the same time. Quote, all truths are but half-truths. Every truth is a half false. End quote. Quote, there are two sides to everything. End quote. Quote, there is a reverse side to every shield. Sorry, guys, my nose is itchy, so somebody's thinking about me. Quote, the Hermetic teachings are to effect that the difference between things seemingly diametrically opposed to each other is merely a matter of degree. Pairs of opposites may be reconciled. End quote. Quote, thesis and antithesis are identical in nature, but different in degree. It gets better. With polarity, spirit and matter are claimed on two different poles of the same things. Degrees of vibration between the two. The Hermeticists show the all and the many are the same, all of matter of degree of mental manifestation. Two opposite poles, the law of the same thing. Light and darkness are poles that embodies the same thing and is the nature within us, varying in degrees. Between each, good and bad are not absolute. The scale varies what position you embody. So like I was saying before with the vibrations, you have your one pole and your feet are the other, right? You have your positive, your negative, or your negative or your positive, whatever you would like, whatever resonates with you. But you have a spirit within matter, and there's degrees in which things are in vibration to. It's on a scale. Again, the pendulum, you can think of the degrees of this pendulum. You're starting at 0 degrees in the negative, and you're going all the way to the highest degree, whatever you want to claim it, 0 positive. And then you have the varying degrees in between. Or you can go to 100. So 0 being really freezing and 100 being really hot. And you have degrees and in between. So where are you on the scale? And the same thing applies to vibration. It's in what degree that things are vibrating in that determines your poles and your opposites. In third density, the pairs of opposites exist everywhere. By this, we can transmute the mental state with shifting the scale along the lines of polarization as long as they're in the same class. Now I'm going to explain this. Quote, thus love never becomes east or west, or red or violet, but it may and often does turn into hate. And likewise, hate may be transformed into love by changing its polarity, end quote. So what it means by staying in the same class is making like hot and cold is temperature, and hot and cold can be, water. It has to be something tangible. It can't be, water is east west. That's not tangible. Can't compare the two because one's direction and one's a material matter. That transforms nonetheless, but it has to be in the same class of items, things, topics, like love and hate. They're polar opposites, but you can transmute into either one. And we're always striving to be in the positive, which would be love. I hope that makes sense. So you want to shift your mental state. And remember, we are human. We swing on both poles. You always want to find your neutral. You always want to find, I hate to say complacency and content. But if you're content with life, you're living it and going through the motions. But if you raise the scale a little bit, you're enjoying the contentment. And eventually that becomes happiness. Do we always stay here? No, because emotions are fleeting. Just like hate. You might hate something in the moment. You get really heated. You get furious. Right? See, a lot of New Yorkers get like that. I get like that. I'm a little sassy bitch. We all get heated, right? And in the moment, we can hate something so much with so much passion. We want to blow it up. We want to hit it, whatever, right? But then if we take a deep breath in, we have a moment there that we can either continue with that feeling or transmute it into something better. And that doesn't mean we're going to swing all the way to the 100th degree. We might swing a couple of degrees up and calm our bodies down and say, you know what? This is not worth my freaking energy to be in this hate. I'm going to move my mindset to change, to calm down, to look at the situation at hand, try to work with it, so that I'm not this intensely having this reaction. That I change my reaction so I'm not exerting energy that is negative and putting it out into the ether. That my toroidal field is now attracting all this negative energy towards me, which compounds me to make the reaction worse. We've seen this with a lot of empaths, normal people as well, who in the heat of a moment do stupid shit and then attracts stupid shit to them. For example, your dude, and I'm talking dude or chick, cheated on you. Now you can take vengeance out on that person that might have not known that you were in a relationship with that person because they are a liar. Or you could see the situation for what it is and say, wow, that person really doesn't care about my feelings, my emotions. Adios, and move on. Well, you know what? There's somebody better for me. This is a sign from the universe. I needed to learn a lesson. I needed to have this experience. Now moving on. Way easier said than done. Trust me, been there, done that. But that's the approach that we should be taking. That's transmuting how you're feeling, going from one extreme to a neutral extreme. Going from, I want to kill a bitch, to, I need to calm down and see why, and why did this present itself in this way? Person lied to me. Is it now worth being in a relationship? They cheated on me. I caught them. It's not what you do to another human being. If you're not in love with somebody, you're not going to expend your energy to the fullest for another person. Then why are you in a relationship? Relationship, they take two people. It shouldn't always be one. And again, it's not equal. Never is. One's always expending more energy than the other, but you always can come to neutral. I don't like to be smothered. I like my own space. I don't want to be attacked on my text messaging or my messaging all day when I have things to do because I'm independent. Unless you're going to offer the help and you're going to do it with me, I'd rather do it myself. But that's just me. I'm a different type of animal. I'm also a Virgo rising, so I get it. I'm an Earth. I'm an Earth rising, so my fire gets grounded really damn quick. But I'm just trying to throw out an example that is something that could be translated into human events. How you can move your mental state and really adapting those really hard moments, taking the step back and going, holy shit, what is this trying to show me? Was there a lesson that I could take away from this? Or was I the lesson to them? You know, I've always said every abusive relationship, and I've said this to the people who were the abusers. Well, I hope now you understand what not to do in your next relationship with a female. I hope this was a lesson for you, that you had somebody that was loyal to you and very loving and gave you everything that they had expended. I had expended. And you didn't accept the energy. You chose to look in other directions, which listen, everybody does. Everybody peeps and looks, and that's normal human nature. But if you're not showing that same interest in the one that you're with, that's a problem. And I'm not here for a relationship advice because I haven't been in a relationship since 2013. But I know what I see and I know what my friends go through. So the same thing with light and darkness. We're both. We exude both. Some show both sides differently. For example, myself. I have a dark, deep, mysterious exterior. I like to look gothic. I like my makeup. I like dark. I like black. My wall. I also like gray. And I'm letting my hair be white, silver, blonde, brown, whatever it is. It's all different colors. This took me a long time to accept. But I do my makeup dark to light. We need to experience both. We need to know from both because you don't have soul growth if you don't go through hard, tough times that are dark. So my exterior is dark and my inside is light. But we are both. We have dark emotions. We have hidden things that are inside of us that are dark. But we're living in duality when you have to have both. I don't know very many people who can keep that front on that's all rainbows and sunshine and happiness and abundance. Because when someone pushes your limits, you need to set your boundaries and you need to be firm. And if you're not firm and people don't see the ugly side of you, like that bitch attitude from you, they're going to walk right all over you. You still could be in a good state of harmony and happiness, but set your boundaries and be firm about it and don't let people walk all over you. Hardest thing for me is when people talk to me in the most vile ways and they don't understand what are you talking about? I didn't mean it that way. Well, reread what you wrote, put it in the context how I would see it because it sounds very gross and dirty. Why the fuck would you say that if I'm not reciprocating that energy back to you? Oh, because, your mind's somewhere else. But my mind isn't. So you would need to stop. Right? Put up your boundaries. And again, there's a varying scale there. There's degrees that vary in the light and the dark. Look at the extremest white through the gray scale to the blackest of black that then becomes ultraviolet. There's varying degrees of light to dark. There's scale. If you're a visual person, that will help you. In third density, the pairs of opposites exist everywhere. And it does. Quote, thus love never becomes east or west or red or violet, but it may often, did I read this already? Yes, I did. Sorry, guys. When the student understands the scale and how to transmute the mind, it's the degrees and scale that manifest the mental state. You can change cold into hot by degree, but you can't make cold sharp or loudness. Because again, it needs to be in the same class. It needs to make sense. mental induction, produced from others. The rate of vibration or polarization with certain mental states is translated to another person. Then the polarity changes the vibration of the mental state. This is where I'm going to leave it off. Telepathy, but not just telepathy. You can use this both ways, negative or positive, because again, we live in duality. MK Ultra, mind manipulation. That's negative. You could program somebody's mind. You could project emotions onto other people. As an empath, earlier on, when I really didn't know what the hell one was, people would call me some crazy shit. People would talk to me in a very specific way, not nice or kind, and degrade me. And eventually I picked up on that energy and I reflected it. It's the mirror effect back onto them. And then they were so offended. I'm like, but I'm only giving you what you give me. I'm your mirror. I'm reflecting how you are making me feel. It's mental manipulation. It's taking advantage of somebody's mental state, right? But this can also be for the positive. So if someone comes to me all anxiety balled out or needs to vent, and they're going through not a happy time in life, I could sit there and uplift them and give them positive adjectives and positive vibrations from me that they can take on and change their state of thinking and change their state of vibration to raise higher. Then they're getting out of that nasty, cruddy negative, and they're going towards upliftment and being empowered. You could do that to another person. You could change somebody else's mindset and mental status really easily. People are very easily manipulated. And we could see that through television. The television dictated to everybody, do this X, Y, and Z because we're telling you to, but don't do your research. Oh, be scared, be in the fear state. Fear, fear, fear. You're going to die, you're going to die, you're going to die, you're going to die, you're going to fear. Blah, blah, blah. What did everybody do? Bring everybody else down into a state of fear because that's the vibration you're exuding out of your toroidal field. At your biofield. You are projecting low vibes by being in a state of fear. They're making you panic. They're making you anxious. They're making you feel bad. If you're not the one doing it, you gotta have everybody got to do it. Oh, everybody got to jump on the bandwagon because you're supposed to save grandma and everybody else's grandma. But what about yourself? Don't you count? Mind manipulation. You know, when you're having a bad day and you need to vent it out, just talk it out, get it out into the ether so it can transmute into something positive. And your friend is like, you know, I get it all the time. I feel certain ways because the universe is making me and challenging the shit out of me. And I'm at my breaking point. This is not easy. And doing it alone, I don't have anybody else, you know, and not to say that people haven't offered, but it's people not putting the action into motion. A lot of people can't get to me. It's expensive to get to where I am. So instead, people send me food, and the reciprocation, at least the last 2 days, was incredible. Today, I had a surprise at my door. Someone got me watermelon and some really good food and water. I'm going through a lot of water. It's hot, I'm dehydrated, and all I'm drinking is water. People got me water. People got me bread and got me tangible things. That uplifted me. That gives me signs that humanity is now understanding what I've been talking about with the Amish mindset. You don't let anybody fall. When someone's at their rock hard bottom and is about to lose it all, people should come in and try to help. That helps the vibration, not just of that person that's suffering. That helps other people. Oh, she helped her. Look how happy she is. Oh, look, she's putting weight back on because, well, 5 ounces. Woohoo! She put 5 ounces back on. Look, she's a little fuller in the face. Oh, look, she's not hangry. She had her Snickers. It uplifts other people so that other people start doing good and better deeds. That raises the vibration not only of yourself, but the people surrounding you. And it motivates other people to uplift other people because uplifting other people makes you feel good. There's a trickle effect to that. That's why I've been talking about it in the last 3 videos about the Amish mindset and not letting anybody fall. And that nobody, no matter what community you are in, no matter what race, gender, or creed, political alignment you're in, you don't let the people in your community fall on the floor, flat on their face, and just look at them and stare like they're a car wreck. The little things that you could do for somebody is uplifting. And that changes society if more people adapt to that mindset. Again, hitting the like button helps put in the algorithm. Again, you have to play their game with the 3D chess, right? Instead of them trying to manipulate you, the more people who hit the like button, yeah, there's shadow banning and all that fun stuff. But eventually, enough people do it, the right people are going to see the video, and the right people are going to mesh with the message. More people do likes, and it's not just, I'm not talking about just me. There are a lot of pages and a lot of people who have a lot of great things that they talk about, discuss, blog, showing what they do on a daily basis that are ignored. And those people don't feel uplifted because no one's giving them a chance. And there's millions of people who do YouTube videos. There's millions of people that do all the other platforms. But if you know somebody personally that they're struggling, why can't you like and share the video? Or if that's something you don't want people to know that's about you, at least give a like. Subscribe. We got to play at their game. They're there to manipulate your mind. They want you to only hear the content. They only want you to hear certain things because they're controlling the narrative, and it's a negative one. And that's how they manipulate your mental state. Narcissists are master manipulators of that. They make you feel good, but then they do really dirty, wicked things. Or they flip on you in a switch. So understand, we inhabit both polarities. We are both light and the dark. It doesn't mean you're any less godly or that doesn't mean doing bad things. It means there are darker parts to you, your attitude, when you get angry. Those are the dark parts of you that you have to have. Those are defense mechanisms. Those are things that are instilled in us to keep us alive. And for those of us who are just, have an attitude and are bitchy and sassy and just express ourselves in, animated ways, that doesn't mean it's necessarily dark. But is it the light? Or is it in the in-between? Um, and that goes for everything. Everything in third dimension, third density. Where we need to be is unconditional love and compassion for others. That's why my spirit guides have been harping on me to discuss the Amish mindset, not to include the religion and the non-tech, because that's not the majority of us in society have tech, because you're watching my video, and many of us are not religious and don't follow a religion in per se. But it's the community and not letting anybody fall. And there are multiple communities. We need to upraise each other. And no, you can't save the world, but you can save one person. You can try and put the energy and expound it, to put it in your biofield, to exude that positive vibes, that you have the good and best intentions of the highest good that you want to do for somebody else, and that in part helps you raise your vibration. Why wouldn't you want to raise your vibration and feel good knowing that you help somebody out, and it's like from the heart, not because you want to impress other people that you're a good charitable person, but you're really greedy. You want to do things because you want to feel good, and you want to do them for the right reasons. You want to do it from your heart space. That's most important. So you can manipulate another person's head very easily and very quickly. But that's on you, how you're going to do that. If you're going to uplift somebody and help them change their mindset to look at things half full, to physically aid them in what they need, so that they know that they can rely on you. A lot of people have trust issues because too many people promise or say they're going to do something and not do it, and then the lack of trust starts to happen. It's also putting what you're thinking into motion. It's not just saying something, it's doing something, and of the highest good, or of the lowest of lows. That's up to you. When you vibrate on a higher frequency and you're exuding the love energy and you're coming from your heart space, that's all that counts. And it varies on a scale and a degree, and you have to understand and understand that it changes constantly because everything is in motion. Everything vibrates. And it's just like a guitar. You pick it up and you need to get to the rhythm and the harmony to make everything sing and dance and hear things in the proper tones. How do you do that if you're all mishmash and all over the place? So you have to come to neutral, and you want to start playing your instrument that it sounds in harmony. There are going to be low parts, there are going to be high parts, but you can't not have both, because you don't want to hear high keys all the time. You want to hear a different spectrum of rhythm. And it's on both light and dark. Think of the piano. You always have your middle C, but there's different C's and different octaves of sound. Some on the lower vibration and some on the higher. Does it mean the lower vibration is evil and negative? No. It needs to happen because we embody both opposites. They need to exist together. And then when you play them both together, you have harmony. You have rhythm. So harmonize yourself. Always try to reach to center. Whatever your center is, everybody's is different. Everybody's individual. Your scales are going to be different. Your degrees of what makes you tick are different. Some people like the cold, where other people's really like the hot. Opposites of the same shit. And there's no right or wrong in that area. Try to do good. Try to raise your vibes. If you want to raise up and want to ascend, it's an advice. We are all individual, and our degrees of vibration are going to be individualized. I'm sick and tired of hearing people not generalize stuff and not understand that each of us are different, and us in totality, all on a scale of varying degrees, vibrate and stay vibrated at different degrees. And that has to work for that one person's individual body, because my body is different from other people's bodies. My diet, my drink, whatever I do is different from other people. Does that mean if I do something low vibrational that I am not going to ascend? No, that doesn't mean that at all. I wish people would stop with that crap. Everybody's diet is different. Everybody's affordability and accessibility to items are different. Does that mean that person is not going to raise their vibration and get where they need to go? Or are they going to be set behind because you had a limiting degree of belief? Or are you going to be a part of that community that uplifts and not make somebody fall? If you're really that concerned about preaching that stuff, then you should be helping more people raise their frequency to where they need to raise it. Everybody's frequency is different. Everybody's field and biofield is different. We are all individual here. We make up a collective, but they're different tribes. They're different soul groups. There's people with different missions, and each has a frequency key that is unique to them. So just generally stating, yes, we want to raise our vibrations to be high, but that degree is based on where your degree is and where your body could tolerate it. That's why through Pistis Sophia, if you've read or listened to my videos on that, when you ascend to the kingdom, there's different levels. It's an elevator scenario. Every level has a different lesson and a different part of the light. Everybody's at a different floor. Each floor has its own lesson. There is nobody less than or above any. Everybody goes through the levels at their own timing. So we can't necessarily say, oh, those people are holding us back if they're in the building at level 1. They're just at level 1, but they are still important and contribute to the whole as the people on level 10. Everybody serves a purpose here. And sometimes it is a negative polarity people who think on a negative scale, who are all about themselves. They're very egotistical, very selfish. And those people are here to teach us what not to be. Using this, you can transmute what you're receiving from people like that and make it into a transmutation of positive. Come to neutrality. They're talking down to you. What is going to make you vibe higher? So I hope that made sense. Again, Spirit's still here, and get it out, Allison. Speak what needs to happen to help the collective. And it's not because I'm in challenging times. My whole life has been a challenge. I've never had I signed up for a compoundment of hell in a handbasket in lessons to get them all over with. A lot of people do. They're done here. They want to go, right? I want to go. I don't want to be here. I'm tired. It makes me sad to see what humanity is doing. But I hope more people catch on and the ripple effect will start spidering out and it hits more people. And again, I'm not the only one talking about the unity. There's a lot of people talking about it. It's just putting it into action. And my examples are very easy. Just hitting a mouse to go click. Takes no time. Doesn't exert much energy. Liking and sharing and subscribing. You got to play the game. Showing up when you say you're going to show up. And again, we sometimes have events and things in life that interpret to those things. But guess what? Make it up. And if you don't do so, that means you really weren't going to talk your talk and walk the walk. It's supporting people, liking on any other platform someone's work. They worked really hard on something and you like it. You see something, you actually resonate with it, hit the like button. Maybe give that person a comment. Wow, that's really cool. Good job. Those little things uplift the people. If you know, you can't always think that there's other people that are going to pick up the slack. Again, it's being a first responder. There's somebody on the floor in cardiac arrest. You walk into the scene. You have to make sure it's safe first before you can go and respond to the victim. You reach the victim. They're non-responsive. And there are people around now watching. What are you going to do? Oh my God, what is it? Right? So before you even start CPR, you point to a person and say, you call 911, you get the AED. Then anybody else know CPR? Do the breaths, I'll do the compressions. It's giving direction, and it doesn't matter who's giving the direction, it's about giving direction, right? So everybody's not standing there with their phones like, and no one's doing nothing. Again, the community mindset. When somebody does something, you might be the only one to like it. Well, what happens if everybody likes it? Or, and again, guys, sometimes things are shared and some people don't even see it until the next day because, again, the algorithm of things messes up. But if you see something you like and resonate with, what does it harm you to like it? That helping somebody out. You can't rely on other people to do it. You got to take the action and put it into motion and to uplift the community. And it goes in every direction. It goes with food. It goes with your abundance, the access of what you have that you can share. And that is going to be different for everybody. I'm hitting this home because things are coming to a climax. We will be hitting, no matter where you live, very tumultuous times. And if you're not able and ready to share your abundance, you're going to let the community fall. Practice, practice, practice. The smallest ways are going to help you in the bigger picture. They're going to help you understand, okay, like I have all this toilet paper because I hoarded it from COVID. You know what? I am not using all this toilet paper. My next door neighbor ran out and stores are closed. You can't use money. What am I going to do? You know what? What is it giving like 2 or 3 rolls of your toilet paper that you hoarded that you have plenty of to your neighbor? They don't know how much you have. Why don't you give them a freaking roll of toilet paper? It's that easy. You know, when someone's stops at the end of the road and they really don't know anything about cars, but you're the mechanic and you do. And you pull over and you see like, oh, what's going on? I don't know if it's a battery, an alternator. I don't know. Oh, let me see what it is. Let me take a look at it and see. That's sharing your abundance. Because that's the knowledge that you have. You have a skill set that you're knowledgeable in that you can help other people. Random acts of kindness, but I mean, on an everyday basis, little things here and there help. So let's get together and do that as a whole. And maybe eventually it reverberates into the ether larger enough that a lot of us don't have to suffer, and then we're all on equal grounding and we can all do something on a daily basis to help society and as a whole, the planet. And it's the little things that we do each and every day that uplifts everybody. And we're sitting on a higher vibration. And we're going onto the positive polarity, which then gives us more access to greatness and to our creator. Sending each and every one of you love and light. Again, I'm in desperation times. If you would like to help me out, no matter how big, how small, I'd appreciate it. There's much gratitude there and much love and light to all of you. I hope you all have a beautiful weekend. Please be safe. The weather is going to be a little bananas for some people. Help out when you can. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye, guys.